Hey, y'all, and welcome to the Get My Life Tour. It is me, your host, Lydia T. Blanco. And as always, I am so grateful that you've decided to take time out of your day and show up here on the Get My Life Tour. It has been some time, but thank you for listening with your heart, for staying connected, and for being on tour with me. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. Here we are all about visibility, showing up, vulnerability, and so much more. Life, love, abundance, okay? Truth, power, the goodness. Look, and if this is your umpteenth time showing up, welcome back. Well, thank you. Okay, look, I appreciate you being here. I appreciate all of you being here and tuning in. Like I said, there are many, well, I didn't say this, but there are a lot of places you could be, a lot of things you could be tuned into, but you decided to be here. So I'm grateful for you, okay? And so it has been some time since I have been solo, center stage, here on the Get My Life Tour. I told y'all that my cadence was going to change. It has. Why? Because life, okay? I have still been in tech, and now I'm like, okay, what's up? I'm on my second tech company, y'all. It's a lot, okay? And I'm so grateful for the opportunity, but I've had to shift some things around. I'm still writing. People are like, what's going on with your column? New stories loading. How's the podcast doing? Phenomenal. Thanks to you all. You know, hard work, dedication, consistency, all of those things matter, as well as you showing up. So thank you again. Since the last time I took center stage, a lot has happened. You know, I've been learning, I've been loving, I have been spending a lot of time by myself. I've recently traveled quite a bit, but I needed some time to just think. And so I got on the road. I've attended a wedding. I've done a lot. You know, I've been getting the swing of things and finding my rhythm again and reigniting a lot of my passion. Because sometimes when you're doing a lot, it's like, whoa, what are we doing? And so, one thing that I can definitely share with you before we get into this week's stop of the tour or this stop on the tour, right, in general, is something that has been extremely helpful to me. And it has been ebooks. You know, having been in this podcasting space for a few years now, I'm just like, okay, big on books already, but I definitely have been listening to more things on Audible. And fun fact, the Get My Life Tour is available for listening on Audible. If you did not know, now you know. Hello. And I've been listening to Randy Zuckerberg's Pick Three. Now I'm just going to go ahead and plug, because it has been helping me get my life. And, you know, now that I think about it and I'm saying this out loud, I think it will be helpful for me to share more of my readings. Now, I'm not sure about starting a full-on book club, but I definitely think it is helpful to share with you all some of the things that I am using as resources, right? Those tools. So Pick Three by Randy Zuckerberg has been helping me. The idea is that you pick three things for a day. I even want to say a lifetime or a season. And you focus on those three things that you want to do well. You know, there are all these different stats out there and research that has been done on multitasking. And not a lot of people are good multitaskers. I thought I was one, and now I just don't want to be a good multitasker. I'm like, I just want to do what I do well. And if I have to pivot, let me give myself the proper time to do so and reset and reshift and reprioritize my focus. And so in Pick Three, Randy breaks down. I'm saying Randy like she's my friend. Hey, Randy, girl, just in case you ever want to be on the Get My Life Tour. I know you do your things too, but you don't. Okay. Anyways. She really talks about the importance of focusing or having this deep focus and how it can set you up for success. And so that's what I have been doing. I have been picking three things a day. And I have been kind to myself as I pick the three things, because as a recovering multitasker, I have to have these moments of pause where I'm like, okay, maybe, well, I didn't think it would go that. Oh, wow, I picked this thing. And I'm really realizing that this thing or this person or this space did not pick me. And I'm like, well, how do we shift based on that? I could have this entire conversation. I'd rather have it with Randy Zuckerberg. So if you're listening, hey, Randy, let's do this. But just a tool, a book I want to share with you all. I saw it floating around a couple other places, and then I began to do some more research on it, downloaded it, and I've been listening to it. And it has been such a great listen. A listen. The person narrating is so quirky and fun and energetic. So it's a good listen. If you'd rather read it, pick up the book. Okay, that's enough. So today, today, I want to get into it, okay? Because one of the things I didn't mention is that I have been outside in the most respectful ways, man. Respectful ways possible. Okay, not editing it out. I'm human. But I've been out, I've been networking, I've been saying yes to more events. And as I go out to meet people and get stories and just socialize, I have just realized a lot. I've also noticed some of the shifts that are happening socially because people are looking to take more encounters offline. And I think that's incredible. I'm like, yes. I'm also realizing that a lot of the people not a lot, a number of people who I've been connected to online, it's almost like, okay. There's some observation. There are a lot of learnings, like I said, in more than the people themselves, the habits, the routines, just some of the patterns that I'm noticing. And so all of those things inspired today's conversation. Be doper offline. If you know me somewhat, I always tell people as it relates to social media, especially, my goal is to be doper offline. I've always had that intention prior to the inception of Instagram, being on Twitter and Facebook, even though there wasn't this hyper focus on personas and how people acted in one way or in one setting than another, especially with social media really taking, you know, off in a new way, right? Because of all of the different technological advances, say like 2014, really, because I was on Instagram, in 2012 when it launched, but I was like a senior in college. Look at y'all trying to do the math. Yes, sweetheart. Anywho, but I've always used social media strategically. And I've always paid attention to how people act too, because I'm an empath, but I also am a people person and I'm a communicator, I'm a storyteller. And so how people act that's important to me. And so I say all this to say that over the last 2 years, 8 months, 2.5 years, 3, if you want to round it up, there has been a social shift. I really feel like at the top of the pandemic, people were scrambling and finding ways to be hyper connected to make up for the loss of being able to see, touch, and feel. Now we're in a space where some people have been able to really form some strong connections, do their best to meet offline. And then the other side of that is that there is a lot of identity crisis, fraud, audacity, and just not true, meaningful connection. And therefore, I would like to encourage everyone to do their best to be doper offline. Have you ever met someone and maybe you followed them for a while, maybe you've even had a couple of interactions with them, and then you see them in person, okay? You see them in real life. And you're like, what just happened? I know some people say, don't be quick to meet your heroes. Oh, okay. Hold on a second. But see, this is the thing. A lot of people think they're heroes. Okay. Now, I'm not calling anyone out. This is not about anyone literally, specifically, but some people are so self-important that they are so awkward offline. I know there were a lot of overnight or over pandemic successes and people who've come up in various industries who are now this, that, and the third because of the access in the that was created and the barriers that were removed to enter certain fields, especially with, people pivoting and trying to figure out what their work looked like during, the demic. And so now it's just like there are so many people who are so full of themselves. I'm gonna sip some water to that one. And it's appalling. It really is, right? And the goal of me having this conversation center stage is not to position myself as someone who has it all together. No, I have my tendencies as well, but we got to cut you know what I'm saying? Because there are too many self-important individuals out here who are living in identity crisis. And I don't have a problem with saying it, right? I have walked up on a couple of people who I'm like, hey, right? And literally, however long prior to that, they were so excited, knew who I was online in the digital setting. And then I see them in person. It's like, and I'm like, is it surprising that I actually look the way I look online, offline, if not a bit more enhanced? You know, is my vibrant personality too much for you? Should I not be approaching you in an in-person setting? It's confusing, right? And so I think it's important to be who you are and have authentic intelligence. I remember hearing this authentic intelligence for the first time in conversation with Fancy here on the Get My Life Tour. I want to say season 1 had to be. Hey, Fancy. And so I was looking up authentic intelligence again because I'm like, well, there has had to be more research done since then. And so authentic intelligence is described as the ability to enhance and use your uniquely human qualities. Okay. I wanted to bring up this definition in the terminology because I think a lot of people are lacking authentic intelligence. You know, while there are a lot of conversations around authenticity, being yourself, even, the conversation here, one of the focal points on the Get My Life Tour, showing up as yourself. I have to say that you can't do that mindlessly. There are a lot of personas that people have, and it's just like, okay, well, who are you? Who are you? Not your representative, not how you've decided to just show up today at random, but who are you at your core? And so I think it's important to think about how we can build our authentic intelligence and really be grounded in that because, like I said, there are a lot of people walking around in identity crisis, online, super inspiring, put together, everything's so curated, right? And then offline, it's just like, oh, wow, quite disappointing. Look, I'm not the authentic federales, but I know that how you treat people and how people feel as a result of engaging with you and exchanging energy is extremely important. And there is a lot of work that needs to be done. Okay. I wrote some notes. I'm looking down at my notes. Okay. Because I was like, I gotta write. I literally have to write this out. So one of the things that I am mindful of is self-preservation, right? But in this age of information sharing, I think it's important to know the difference between self-preservation and coveting your gifts and being self-important, right? I understand everyone has to eat, everyone has bills to pay, and being able to maintain a certain quality of life is important. I say that because I get it. You got to make the sales. Everything is not free. No one is asking you for free information every time they engage with you, right? Let me get off the table. But sometimes that's how people treat you. Like, oh, okay, so what do you want? Okay, who are you again? Oh, well, and it's just like, okay, right? So if you're someone who's watching this and you're like great at what you do, my charge to you, um, great at what you do and have influence, is to be as inspirational offline as you are online without fearing that someone is asking you for something for free, especially if you're someone who sells products or goods. Check in with yourself and make sure that you're not being transactional in that manner towards others either, right? Oh man, mistaken identity. I think that definitely ties into, the idea of being self-important. We are all special, hopefully to ourselves first, right? Most High definitely loves us. And I think to certain people, you are very important. But sometimes we mistake the fact that, I say more? Or, we can even get into identity fraud. It's a lot of people out here. Everybody has six figures. Everybody's doing so well, and everyone is, thriving. And everything that they touch is gold, right? And so what happens is sometimes from the outside in, or just being super focused on those things, we look to our left and to our right, and it's just like, well, what's wrong with me? There's nothing wrong with you. Results take time. Shout out to Simba. That album is incredible. Okay. But you oh, there's so much in this. Okay. I'm like, okay, Lydia, stick to your notes. I'm going to stick to my notes. All right. And so I have some ways, because I didn't want to just get in here or on tour, center stage, and just say what I personally feel. I feel like a lot of these things, I feel, right? I do believe that a lot of these things are accurate. And I don't know about you, but I don't like meeting people and it's just like, okay. All right. But I just wanted to talk about it. I really did. I was like, okay. I had this conversation with a few people. I have been surprised. Being outside is surprising. Okay. People are talking about how expensive it is to be outside. No one's talking about all of the identity fraud. Okay. And that costs you more. Hmm. Okay. Cool. So, as I began to say before getting into that, is that I do have some actionable tips. And they are things that honestly have helped me, because one of the reasons why I like to share is so that there can also be some takeaways, right? I just don't want to be on a soapbox. So, first things first, I think it's important to be grounded um, and focus on something other than your online presence. Everything can't be for the gram, it cannot. And so, for that reason, I encourage everyone to find ways to take a break from being online. There's so much that we want to engage in and receive. And I get it, right? I understand wanting to be in the know and finding ways to stay ahead of the curve and solve for things creatively. Okay. But at the same time, meaningful disconnection is important. Okay. Meaningfully disconnect. Take time away from your phone, from strategizing around your next post, following certain people, unfollow some people. I often am unfollowing. I don't have the largest following. I'm all right with that. You know what I'm saying? Been verified without being verified. You know what I'm saying? Dope or offline, can hold a conversation, not socially awkward, not creating false competition. Those things reign true for me. And so I want to encourage you to take some time to be offline. What I have here also is to stop comparing yourself. Put on those blinders. And remember that not everyone has had the same starting point. If one person is going to be self-important and, so this and so that and so rah rah, or you're focused on the wrong things, it's time for you to stop, reshift your focus and stop comparing yourself to others, right? I just be minding my business, y'all, as much as I can. We're all human, but honestly, you can't be your best and who you've been called to be, in my personal opinion, if you're always paying attention to what others are doing, right? Because ultimately that influences how you show up. And if you are dress rehearsing everything you see, or becoming like an understudy for those who you admire, there's no way you're going to ever show up as yourself. How, Sway? How? You're not. Look, that could have been my mic drop moment right there. Okay. So the third thing that I'd like to share is for you to create a routine that really helps you to embody who you are, the things that you like, the things that you like to do. I realize that sometimes in conversations, people can't tell you what they're interested in, what makes them happy, what brings them joy, because they haven't created a routine. It is so important for me to say thank you in the morning before my feet touches the floor or touch the floor. It's important for me to lift my curtains, not have anything playing, just really listening in the silence, drinking my water, honestly, journaling, so many things that grounds me. These routines keep me. And so as I go out, as I network, as I engage with, people who are incredible and others, I'm like, okay, I've already set the tone for my day. There's not much that can penetrate me. And if it does, you know what I'm saying? Push these like pew, okay, like Kendrick Lamar says, and really be shielded from some of the things that are coming my way. Energy is a very real thing. I know a lot of people are talking about it now, but we have to, I think one of the ways that we guard ourselves is by creating routines. And that also helps you show up as your best self. Okay. Now, here, I wrote down finds a good few. I have literally been putting this out. I'm like, okay, I have some people who I think are great. Shout outs to all of you. You know who you are. And I'm still praying for a few more incredible, consistent, vibrant, dynamic, and diverse, and so many other people or attributes of people that I can call, that I'm calling into my life. Hello, somebody. Um, so that I can continue to live in my fullness and experience others, and there be that, mutually beneficial energy and relationships, all the things. And I say this because sometimes we follow so many things and so many people that we don't realize what direction we're going in. And when you have a few good people in your corner, you have that accountability, that love, the pouring in, the pouring out, in the flow that is created over time that can keep you on course. I strongly believe that. And so all of the things that I mentioned, what I gave you four, right, are things that I am and I have put into practice. And, I receive so many positive, things and feedback when I meet people. I've had some incredible experiences connecting with people offline. And it's because I am who I say I am. I'm very serious about that. Sometimes people say, Lydia, you're so serious. But I am serious about who I am. I can have fun, laugh, drop into a little Kim squad, rap, freestyle, do all the things. But that is who I am, right? And so I don't want to confuse being Mindful of how you show up with what I'm speaking of, right? People being in identity crisis and not being doper or as dope offline. It is important to, you know, for the sake of sacrecy, be intentional about your intelligence, who you will be intimate with in any shape, form, or fashion, and how you show up in different spaces, right? I think that remains true in business, in the workplace, and throughout your relationships. But even with figuring out who gets what and how much of you, you can always be who you say you are. You can be who you've been called to be, and you can be consistent, and you can stand 10 toes down on it. Sometimes I know people are probably like, wow, Lydia, when you come to work, it doesn't even seem like you do what you do. And, because you're so, and it's like, because this is who you get, right? And it's very much so who I am. But at the same time, you have to be mindful of what you give people. If it ain't online, you're probably not going to get it. And what I give online is myself, right? And so in certain spaces, I don't have to be this all the time, because why? What good does that serve me? But it is very much so who I am. If I have a moment, I have a moment, and all of that applies elsewhere. I've had conversations with my pastor. I'm like, yes, literally gassing them up. Okay. And I speak to my homegirls, my homeboys, my family, and keep it tasteful, keep it respectful, be soft, be kind, considerate, know when to. It's like turning up the gain, turning up the volume, know when to turn it up, know when to turn it down. But hey, don't turn into someone else in the process of being who you are, unless it is the best version of yourself. And that right there is my mic drop moment. I hope that this episode has encouraged you to be who you have been called to be. It's not an overnight process. It's not like you're going to take these 4 tips and be like, I got it all figured out. Hell, I don't have it all figured out. But I am serious about Lydia T Blanco and how people receive from me, because I'm a big deal. You're a big deal. You know what I'm saying? It's just about knowing, you know what I'm saying, how to exude that. Okay. Look, I hope that this stop on a tour has been what you have needed. It has been what I've needed. I look forward to coming back more frequently with more incredible guests. I know there is a pause in between episodes, but it is with good reason. This season has been incredible. I say short, but impactful. And not to say that it's short as in the season is already wrapping up. No, but there's so much to come from the Get My Life tour in a real way. Outside is really open. I have more access. I am building the team and thinking about locations. All this, I'm like, because this is my baby. It has been, and I appreciate each and every person who has been riding with me since day one. Brainchild, idea, execution, from platform to platform to right here. So thank you. As always, please tune in wherever you listen to podcasts. If you're watching this on YouTube, go ahead and hit the subscribe and like and all the things that they be saying on YouTube. One day I'm about to become an official YouTuber for real. Like, I guess I already am, but I am, you know what I'm saying? But yes, tune into the Get My Life tour wherever you listen to podcasts. Thank you for listening with your heart. As always, visit the Get My Life tour if you want to recap any other of the past episodes. You can follow the Get My Life tour on all social platforms at the Get My Life tour, with the exception of Twitter. It is at Get My Life tour because it was too long to stay connected with me, preferably on Instagram or on my website, it is at Lydia T. Blanco. If you want to say hi on Facebook, do so on the Get My Life Tour or at by Lydia T. Blanco. Email me too. If you want to pitch, if you want to be here center stage with me, join me at the Get My Life Tour. You may also see the form on the getmylifetour.com. Fill it out. Let me know. Look, this has been incredible. And I'm so glad that you are here. And I hope that you continue to be encouraged on your journey as you show up for yourself and others. Be kind to yourself. Remember, be dope or offline. That's the goal. Until the next time, it has been real. Peace.